Hi everybody. So this is today's assignment will be week 4. So last week we did week 3 with the Maya time editor. This week we're gonna focus on importing an environment from Sketchfab, putting it in Maya, fixing a few things, and exporting it to Unreal. So Sketchfab has a lot of environments. The two formats that you want to download is .obj and .fbx. So I'll just show you a little bit how to look in Sketchfab. Most of you probably already know. So if you go in Explore, Downloadables, and then by categories, you search, let's say, for architecture or environments, I believe. Cultural. So let's try architecture first. Okay. So you're gonna see a bunch of things up here. If you see download, which you should see a download icon. Some of them will have a $sign. That means you have to buy it. Okay. I'm not sure if there's a way to exclude that. There might be a way in the categories to exclude it, but I'm not sure. Anyways, look through and find something interesting that you want to use for this week. You could try to use something that if you have the idea for the previs, you can download something for the previs, your final previs, if you want to. So I'm gonna try something. I'll try this one. Let's see what that thing is. So if I click on it, if I click on the download, I'll see OBG. So this is one of the formats that I want to try. So I'll download this. I'm not sure what these are, but don't worry about it. So looks like a high-res scan. So let's try to open this up. It's probably in your download. So I'm gonna take this and go to my desktop, and in downloads, let's call it layouts or environments. Paste that in, unzip it. And there's another zip file here, so I'll unzip this one. So what do we get here? We get an OBG file, a material file, and a few JPEGs. These JPEGs are probably the textures. Yeah, there's no normal maps or anything like that, so don't worry too much about the normal maps. So let's try to bring this into Maya. Okay. So if we drag and drop the material, the OBG, it's showing up upside down. It's probably because it was created with ZUp, so we can easily fix that. Anyways, you should be in ZUp when you create your character, so this should work. So if I click texture, it's perfect. It actually loads up. Okay. If it doesn't load up, you will need to explore the materials in here and load up the textures manually, unfortunately, because some of the files that you download from Sketchfab, they don't have the textures assigned to it. Like you don't have this, so you will need to go in textures, load, and load it with here. Excuse me. I'm gonna try to find something. I'm sure you guys know how to do the load up the textures, so I don't want to spend too much time on it. I do want to show you the FBX format, how to work with the FBX format, because the OBJ a lot of times is one single object, so it's easy. You could just export this as an FBX and import it into Unreal, and everything is fine. But a lot of times, um, the scene that you find has multiple objects. So if I look for one in particular, floating island, I used this last year in my motion builder class, and I think it's a good one to use for this exercise. Okay, so this one has multiple pieces. Okay, so let's download this. If I go in here, download model, and download the, oh, it is an OBJ. I think there might be another version, FBX. Let's see. Yeah, I'll download both. Let's see which one has the multiple pieces. So I'm going to go and download, copy these, go back, and environments, right? Downloads environments, put it these, and I'll export the first one. Let's unzip the first one to see what's in it. And RAR file, if you don't know what a RAR file is, it's another type of zip file. So you just need to download WinRAR. Download this. Probably 64-bit. Most Windows are 64. So just download and unrar it, basically. Okay, let's see what's in this file. So what do we have here? We have the OBJ. So if I drag this in, okay, so it has the multiple pieces created with Y up. And if we put on the textures, okay, we can work with this too. So yeah, we have all the pieces there. Okay. So as you can see, there's multiple pieces of the meshes. Don't worry about this. You don't need the smoke. So the first thing we need to do here is, so let's save the scene first. Save as, and put it in F21, my assets. So I'm gonna create a new folder called environment. I'll call this week 2. Week 2. I keep doing the same thing. I like week 2. I think week 4, right? We're in week 4. Just let me double check the course outline. it is week 4 because last week was week 3. So environment from Sketchfab week 4, yeah. Back in Maya, week 4, floating island. Put my okay. Just so you guys know. Don't forget the file format that you have to submit. Okay, so there's, as you can see, there's a lot of pieces. So the first thing you need to do is let's group them. So in case you need to move the pieces or scale the pieces, it's easier to do. So we select all the meshes and we go create, edit, Control G, okay? So now all the pieces are grouped in one. I like to call this root as well. So root environment. So this way, when you import the character, it's not the, it's a different name. Okay, so I mean, I don't mind the location or the scale of it. I'll keep it as is. What you need to, once you start creating your film, what you need to determine is the scale. So if you have a character already, just merge it in. So I'm gonna merge in my my ninja and my assets, characters, because I want to see if that environment or the character are scaled up properly, right? So I'm just gonna merge in the ninja as is on the T-pose. And they're not to scale because probably the environment is way too small, and one of them is Z up and one of them is Y up. So how do we fix this? So we fix this by doing this then. So create a new scene, don't save your scene. We need to load the character first. Okay. So our character was created with, I believe, Y up, so I created it in Y up, so I need to switch back to Y up. Oh, sorry, Z up, so I created it in Z up. But because I was in Y up, I'm opening a scene in Z up, so there's a small mess up that we need to fix. So if your rotation is weird, just go in perspective new, okay? And it will create a new perspective and you can orbit around it properly. Okay, so we know our character is good, is the good scale. Hold on a second. So we're in, are we in centimeters? Why is it? Okay, that's not normal. Okay, let me just double check why. Okay, so we're good. We are in centimeters. And this cube is at 180, so he's about 2 meters, so this is correct. I'm not sure why this bone, it's probably inheriting the, yeah, it's probably inheriting, so and Z is 93, right? Yeah, okay, we're good. So now we have our character. We need to import the environment, okay? So if we import or merge, is there a merge? No, import. So we can import the layout that we just created. And I believe this one. And what do we get? We get this super tiny, because that's how it was probably created with meters or something. So we need to scale this up, okay? So, whoops, I'm so used to the motion blur shots. Okay, it's probably, yeah, it's probably upside down because it was created in Y up. So the first thing we need to do is rotate this. I'll put 90 here, and then we scale it. So let's see, we can scale, let's try 100. So yeah, it was probably created with meters. That's why it's so tiny. So what I'm doing here is I'm taking the floor as my reference and placing the node where it should be. Okay. So I mean, I think, you know, it's a good size. The props fit with the ninja guy, with the ninja character. So what do we need to do now is we're gonna save it again because I don't want to save it on top of my ninja. So we're gonna save it as good scale. Okay, we'll keep the original just in case we need it for whatever reason, and we keep working with this. Okay, so we can probably export this as is. But what do we need to select? We need to select just the environment and then go File, Export Selection. Yes, Export FBX. I know last time when we were exporting in the geometry section, we didn't put smoothing room, but you can put it now, it's okay. Because that minimizes the, you know, that little pop-up every time you get it in Unreal. We do not need animation because what we're exporting just a mesh. So we don't need, we just need that the environment as a static mesh basically. Okay. So we can export it here, right? FBX, we call it floating island. And export. Save again. And now we go to Unreal. So I'm gonna keep working with excuse me, with the project from last week. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a new map because I don't wanna, let's say, mess up the map or the week 2 assignment. So I will create file, sorry, not new map, new level. Okay, so I'll create a new level. Um, I will I will keep the content, right? So when you create a new level, you keep your content folder. You're just creating a new level inside inside of Unreal. Okay. So I'll choose the default. It's okay. I didn't do anything here, but it's okay. Save selected. So I'll create a new level here. Call it week 4. And yeah, so I saved it here in levels. If you didn't see me clicking on the level folder, I created it right in level. So we have week 2 and then week 4. Oh, okay. That's okay. It's weird they kept the ninja guy. It's okay, we're gonna need him anyway to check the scale. But what we can do, you know this little icon, you could just click on it and he will be at 0, 0. For this exercise, we don't need anymore the floor, so we could just select it, you know, the floor in the outliner, and just delete. We can keep the other stuff. I'll go through it in a little bit. It's mostly the, you know, the clouds, the light source, stuff like that. We can keep it as, to use it as default with our environment. Okay. So I'm gonna create a new folder before I import anything. So new folder. I'm gonna call it environment. And in here, I'll create another folder just in case we have, if you guys have multiple environments, it's better to split it because you're gonna get a lot of files in here. Floating island. Okay, and we're ready to import. So if I go File, Import into Level, the reason I'm doing it like this is if you drag and drop the FBX here, and then you have to create all the pieces in the environment. So it's easier just to do it like this. So import into level, and we will go to Dawson F21, my assets, environment, floating island. So it tells me where do you want to save all these files. So I'll just choose the folder that I created. There's a lot of options here. I'm not gonna go through them, but the default should work. So let's go with the default. So it's gonna import all the pieces. Okay, we got some errors, but they might not be super important. We'll see. So give it a second. I apologize again. My PC is a little bit old. We'll give it a couple of seconds to compile everything. I'll be right back. Okay, so when the import is done, you will see your layout in Unreal, and um, it's kind of lit because of the light sources that's already there. We might see. So let's check. Let's load up the Ninja to see if the scale is correct. So if we go on characters, Ninja, skeletal mesh, right? And we drag and drop this guy, he is the same size as the door. So we're good. Um, we can keep the Ninja in there just for reference, but um, as you can see in your scene now in the outliner, there's a node called FBX Floating Island, and inside of it, if you go in the Details tab, right under the outliner, there's Details. You can see the root node. The root node. Actually, Unreal creates another root node on top, so there's two root nodes. This one is at 0, 0, and this one is at the location where we moved it in Maya, right? So if you look at the channel box, these numbers, 51 to 43, correspond to the same numbers here in Unreal because it uses the same world space. And underneath the root is all the pieces, see? And if you look in the floating island, you have an 140 object. So this is the reason we need to create folders. It's gonna get crazy with files. See how you have all the textures, the materials, everything in there. Okay, so let's talk about lights. So I'd like you to, I'm going to show you a bit of the basic lights in Unreal. So what comes already with the blank scene is atmospheric fog. So atmospheric fog is the little fog you see in the background. We can keep it, doesn't really matter. Light source. So what is the light source? So light source is kind of a, if you want, a directional light, okay? And if you look in the sky, you will see the sun, okay? But if you go in the details and all the way down, you will see atmosphere and cloud, okay? So when you have this on, atmosphere, sunlight, you can take the light source, which is the directional light. You'll find it here, right? Lights. So this is a directional light. You'll see the type of it right here. So if I try to rotate this, you will see the light changes a little bit. You see, it doesn't change drastically, is because we have a skybox. Okay, if I hide the skybox and then go back to the directional light, atmosphere. So you can easily, you don't have to scroll down all the time. If you select the light source and you go search details and type atmosphere, just make sure this one is on. Okay. Now if you rotate on the X, what are we gonna get? We're gonna get a time of day. Okay. Again, the reason it wasn't showing is because of the clouds. I will try to find out how to get clouds and sunlight. I tried to do that and it didn't let me for some reason. But let's just talk for today, just talk basic setup, and then we can talk about adding clouds later. So for today, let's just keep the clouds, and then maybe during the camera class later on, we can talk a bit about more cameras settings and light settings. Okay, what else? So there's oh, there was already a ninja, so we can delete this one. Player start is needed because if you press play, you need to spawn at that location. So sphere, like I said, sky sphere is actually a blueprint. And skylight, I'm not 100% sure what a skylight is, but I'm gonna do some investigation about it. And reflection is kind of a, if you look at it from far, it's basically a reflection sphere for the objects to reflect light upon it. Keep it for now, and I will get more we'll get more information about it later. So I wanna just add a couple more lights just for today, and we can maybe put a camera and render out. So we'll keep it simple for today. I'm not gonna go too crazy with the lighting setups and all that. So if you want to add point light, you have to go in here and just 1 second. Okay, so I'll add a point light. Just put it somewhere. And I'll add a spotlight as well. Okay. And if you've noticed in here, it says Unreal is asking you to build the light. Okay. It's because we added the environment, we added a bunch. So let's, because what you see here might not be like final, what you see in the viewport. Try to maximize. So if you want to maximize your view, it's F11 if you press on the keyboard, F11. Because what you see here is not perfectly lit shadows, anything like that. So what we need to do, after you add some lights, you can build the lights. So the build option is here. So if you click on this, let's just take a look first what the lighting quality is. So if you click on the little arrow, go lighting quality. The default is preview, which is fine. Let's keep it a preview for now because you can go higher. So you can go production and it increases the build time, but it will show you more accurate light and reflections and everything. Okay, so keep it a preview and just press build. Okay, so we'll start taking the textures, taking the lights, and building everything in the background. I'll pause it for now and come back to it. Okay, so the lighting build is done. If you get some red errors while it was building, just leave it running. They'll probably go away when all the lighting compiling with the shaders is done. So you might get some errors like this, object UV overlapping, stuff like that. Don't worry too much about it as long as you see all the textures, all the pieces in the engine. So as you can see, it's way better. I'm gonna show you a few things with the spotlight and the spotlight and the directional light, point light, sorry. So if you select the point light, either an outliner or a viewport, in details you have pretty much the same setup in Maya, right? So Let's say so there's a spotlight here. Sorry, point light. I keep saying spotlight. So let's say there's a point light here in the lantern, right? So you can put it close to the object itself, and could just move it, eyeball it. It's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. But if you are annoyed by the snapping, see how it snaps degrees, and you want to be precise. It's probably snapping because of my frame rate. Let me see. Oh, it's this one right here. So there's two kinds of snapping translation and snapping rotation. So I turned off the rotation because, see, I can rotate it the way I want. But this one, it's still snapping a little bit. It's probably because of my frame rate. Oh, this one, sorry, I apologize. The grid. Enable disable snapping to the grid. So it's snapping to these little grid spacing using the grid spacing. So if you turn off the grid, I'll keep this one on just in case. And now you can move it easily. Okay, that's probably okay. Right, closer to the lantern. Okay, so a bunch of options here. The same thing probably in Maya. So you have lighting. You can decrease this. You can put 5 instead of 8 or 4. Let's say by half. You can change the color. So you decide to go with a little bit of orange. See, it's changing in real time, right? So you don't have to render every time. Attenuation radius. So this, if you, fortunately, you can't see the. It's bad. You're supposed to see use temperature. So the radius, you'll see it more with the spotlight in a second. But the radius is how much is affecting in the map. So you can. Oh, now I see. Oh, it's too big. Okay, so now we see it. Okay. So see, it's how much it's affecting. So you could just, if you want it, it's a small spotlight. You could just select it like that and make it smaller. And then you can maybe increase the intensity if you want. See, it's only affecting that sphere. There's a whole other things like cast shadows. Obviously, it's casting the shadows of each object. It's really cool. So these are the basics. But if you guys want to have fun with all of these, just go for it. This class is just for basics for now. So Spotlight, it's pretty much the same. If you can see, I'll put it on the character. So we have the same setup. So right now, where is it? Yeah. So I want it to actually I want to rotate it and put it towards our ninja. So now he's better lit, right? And the radius. Let me check something. Yeah. So there's actually two things in the radius for a spotlight. If you've dealt with the spotlights in Maya, you're gonna find some similarities. So there's an inner cone and outer cone. Okay. So if I increase the inner cone, it's how soft how soft the shadow will be between the inner and the outer. Okay. Unfortunately, it's not showing. Let's try a different color. Yeah, we might have to rebuild, unfortunately. Some lights is real time, but some of them you might have to rebuild. Let's see what that looks like. Hopefully it will be fast this time. I'll pause it anyway. Okay, so it's not really showing the red. It probably, I'm not sure why. Source. Um, yeah, it might be because we have way too many lights in the scene. I'll look into it for the other class, maybe in 2 weeks, to see why the color is not showing. It should be showing at least in the viewport, but for some reason it's not. We need the directional light. Maybe it's not casting any shadows. No, it's on. Okay. Strange. I'm gonna save my scene. Save my map. So that's it. There's a bunch of settings here. You know, soft. Not sure if it's gonna do anything. I encourage you to play with it. There's a lot of settings in there. And the further down you go, it's more advanced. So maybe just stay here for now until I figure out more about these lights. So what can we do to finalize this for this week? I can create. I'm going to create a small sequence and animate a camera. Okay. So I'm going to add. We already have a sequence from week 2. Actually, week 3, I think. Add level sequence. So sequencer, and I'll call it week 4 environment, and I will add a small camera and animate it. Okay, I don't believe there's a camera. Let's see. No, there's no camera. So I'll add a small camera, cinematic camera. Of course, it's showing me where it's looking. So I'll add the camera cut first, and automatically when I add it, it will select the camera that's in the scene, right? So it's right here. So I would like to just do a little animation of it. Actually, before I do that, I'm gonna switch to 35 millimeter. Not super, is it this one? 16:9 film. Yeah, 16:9. The digital is a little different. I'm not sure what DSLR, but let's go with 16:9 film. Okay, so this is the angle that we want. So if you want to see what the camera is looking at. So if you have nothing selected, see, you won't see the little preview. You just need to select the cam. Oops. Select the cam. It's weird. Just give me a second. I don't know why the name. Cinematic camera actor. Oh, there's two. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna start from scratch because when I created a camera here, it actually adds another camera. So let's just delete this one. And this one is where exactly? This one should be. Oh, it's inside here. That's why. What's going on? Okay, so we deleted all the cams. I don't know why it's acting up a little bit. So create a new camera and set it in the current camera cut. Okay, so where is my camera? Is it at 0, 0? Okay, this is strange. It's supposed to give me the camera. Okay, you know what? I'll start from. There's another way to do it. So I'll go back to SynCam. I'll add my camera here. Now I see it. I change it to film and track, add to sequencer, add Syn Camera 8. Okay, that's the best way because now my Syn Camera Actor 8 matches the name of the camera I just created. So now if I move this, I will see what we're looking at. So I'm just going to do like a little pan down from the sky to the ninja. Just simple thing. And I'll keyframe it, right? So you can have a movie, a little clip movie after. Notice that when you rotate, you can rotate. You don't have to always rotate on the. I'm just going to zoom in. You don't have to always rotate on the same axis as the world. You can actually rotate using the local pivot of the camera. So I'll show you the difference. So when you rotate like this, see, the x-axis is here, but you want to rotate with the camera axis, okay? So you can easily switch this to local. See, it's like this button switches from world axis to local axis, and then you can rotate along the camera's axis. See the difference? So in the viewport here, if you rotate like this, it's skewing the horizon. Okay, so this is a small trick if you want to do rotate along the axis of the camera. Translation works the same thing if you want. Okay, so I want to like start panning down near the bell, top of the. Okay, so if you go down here in Cinema Actor, which is the camera, and go in Transform, you open that up, you will have Location, which is translation, rotation, and scale. Okay, So we wanna, it's okay, we can keyframe all three at the same way. We're not gonna keyframe the scale, but it will put a key there, basically. How long do we want it? Maybe 3 seconds, so maybe 120, right? 120, yeah, 120, that's good. Okay, so we select the cam and we keyframe. See, it puts a key, just like Maya. And my next key, let's say, whoops, just move the green. When you move the green, you're moving the beginning frame. So just be careful. If you, the green is where the sequence starts, and the red is where the sequence ends. So I'll move to the end, and I'll just to, let's say, put two key poses for now, and I can move it in world. It's okay. Right, and maybe like something like this. Just super simple rotation, local, and we look at the guy a little bit more. Maybe show some of the, let's see what's over here. Yeah, that's fine. So let's put a key here, and let's see what that looks like. Okay. It's not bad. I mean, you can kind of see the trajectory. So if you want to um, tweak it, tweak the curve, you can select the location and open up the show animation keys in curve editor. Okay, and you will see similar similar view as in Maya. So now you can, if you're more comfortable here editing the curves, you can do it, but you can always, you can as well, maybe if you want to do it in here, it's an option too. So if you, let's say you want to pull out more and have a better view of the house, you could do, and then rotate, right? Maybe it's a little bit too close. That could work too. So if you've selected the just a location track and you press key, it will only key. But if you've selected all of them, you press key, it will put a key on all of them. So it depends what you have selected. Okay. So let's see what that looks like. It's not bad. We'll keep it simple for today. That's it. So let's render this out. And please submit, again, the Maya file and the MPEG that you're gonna render out, or yeah, it's only AVI. You can convert it. Please convert it with Premiere or a Handbrake. Well, we can go through it now, super quick. 30 FPS, 1280, and is it in here? Or we could put it, forgot where we put our one from last week, content. So it saves the location from last time. Where did it go? Content sequencer, that's fine. I'll call it week 4 environment. Oh, I'm sorry. So yeah, I did the same thing. So the folder is correct, but the file name should be this, okay? Should be fine. We set it from 0 to save, and it's gonna render it. Okay. It's not bad. You don't have to compress it. I'll show you next time how to compress these files. So please upload a zip file with AVI, the video, and the Maya file. Okay, thank you guys.